Hey there, welcome to Izzo's Place. Very simple review. Just got back from a trip. I had some videos pre-logged for the 3 weeks I was gone, but I wasn't smart enough to do a 4th week, which would have really helped me out right now. Could have had a nice, long, interesting review. Instead, you get a little short guy. So I did pick this up. I got a deal on it. I'll put what the normal MSRP is on it, so you can pick it up. Like whatever Home Depot sells it for, I'll put it on there. And I'd probably put it on the short too. It comes with a nice little bag. So a lot of my stuff goes into hard shell toolboxes. But it is nice to just keep a bag handy. Sometimes you just got a small little job, you need a drill and nothing else. So this bag, this kit is probably going to turn into that, kind of be like an emergency thing. Always leave it on the van, possibly just leave it in the little car too, just as a backup. So compared with some of the drills you've seen me review, there's not much to it. I even feel like even the labeling is not as crazy on this thing. So it might have been older, and that could very well be why the box said special buy on it. It is the DCD771C2, if that means anything to you. It's a 20-volt compact drill driver kit. Obviously just one that does drilling and driving. You know, it's not two tools. Okay, so charger, normal charger. It's the slow charger. So it doesn't have a fan that'll kick on when you're charging it. And I was serious in the short. If you need some chargers, I've got so many extra chargers now at this point. Comes with just the normal 20-volt. So it doesn't even have an amp on here. So I don't know if this is 1 amp, 2 amp, maybe it'll say on here somewhere. Oh, it's stamped 2024, so it's not an older battery. I'm not seeing an amperage. Here we go, maybe on here. Type 1, 1.5 amp. Okay, so these little black batteries that DeWalt carries in the 20-volt line, apparently they're amp and a half. So not a lot of power there, but if it's your backup drill, probably doesn't need a lot of power. It does have the light. Enjoy the light. It's got this kind of soft chuck where you don't need a key. Tighten it by hand. However, always make sure it's good and tight. You don't want a bit, either a drill bit or a driver bit, to fly out on you when you're using it. It is a 2-speeder, so let's go ahead and tighten this up. Just snug it up. So that's the 2nd speed, so that should be the fastest speed. And it's probably hard to tell on the video. There is a distinct difference. I can feel it, like in the way the drill torques when I pull the trigger. Definitely distinct difference. It's got forward and reverse like any of these drills do. Reverse, forward. If you're ever working with Izzo, I got in the habit of, no matter what I'm doing, I put my drill in forward. So that way, there's never any confusion. At least for me. Now, someone else picks up my drill, they might have saw me just like back something out and might not realize that I always put it back and forward when I set it down. So if someone grabs my drill, they might be confused. But Izzo isn't confused anymore. So it's got the usual settings. Right now it's set on drill, which means it has no clutch on it. What is clutch? I don't know exactly how you define clutch. Editing Izzo will put it down below. But when you put it on 1, it only goes a certain amount of pressure before it starts tripping. You hear that? So it's not moving anymore. So the reason you would do that, and it's got, I think 16? It's got 16 different clutch settings. You gotta hold it pretty hard to get it for that 16. So the reason you do that is so what you should do, like when you're putting in a screw, let's say you're doing a door hinge, what you should do, and sometimes we contractors are a little lazy and we try to skip some of the steps, but if you're doing it right, you pre-drill a small hole, and then you put in the screw and you drive it in with the driver, and you should really be setting the clutch, so that way, once the screw is fully seated and tight, that the clutch kicks in and stops you from over-tightening. Because it's when you over-tighten that you strip out the screw, and if you do that, then you have to either find yourself a bigger screw or get some glue and toothpicks and fill that hole so that your screw will work. So using the clutch is really good. Now, when we're using the impact wrenches, they have a clutch on it, and it works for a lot of stuff, but it's just one speed of clutch, and I don't know what pressure the impact driver is. So if you're putting in screws, really you should switch to the drill driver. You should put the clutch at the appropriate place. And a lot of times what I'll do is I'll start out with it like on 5, because you rarely need anything less than 5. So I'll put it on 5 and see if it stops where I want it to, and I'll just keep upping it until it seats it properly without stripping it, and then I can leave my clutch set up for the rest of the job. So that was nice. Got to get into a little clutch explanation. That'll take up some of this time. Of course, I don't know if you notice. I don't know if you can notice when you watch my videos, I usually put it on 1.25 speed. So Izzo is talking faster on YouTube than in real life. See if there's anything else we can glean out of the label. We got warnings. Those are not in English, so I don't know what those warnings are about. Where else? Probably the same here. So to reduce the risk of injury, user must read instructions. Use only with DeWalt batteries. Always use proper eye and respiratory protection. Those are all very good advice. Made in Mexico. Hecha en Mexico. but it's made for DeWalt Industrial Tool, Townsend, Maryland. They got a number you can call for service. They got a QR code here. I believe that's where I can register my drill, and I always forget to do that. I should probably do that. Oh, something else about this. So even as plain Jane as this looks, it is a nicer drill. It's got the full 1/2-inch chuck. What does that mean? That means that I can put bits in this that are, if I open this all the way, I'd be able to put a bit with a 1/2-inch shank on it into this chuck and use it. And that's something you want to watch, because a lot of the stuff that you would just buy off the shelf if you're not paying attention is going to be 3/8 on the chuck. And so having the larger chuck isn't necessary, but it comes in handy sometimes, and sometimes it's the only way to get something done. All right, anything else I could see on here that we like? 1/2-inch chuck or 13mm if you're a metric kind of person. I am only metric for certain things. I wouldn't mind if we switched over completely, but I'd have to have like 38 years of working with regular measurements. And that's just an estimate. Could be more, could be less, because I'm 46. All right, that's all I got for you on this review. If you have any questions, let me know. I'll do my best to answer them. If you want some free drill batteries, email me at heyizzo@yahoo.com, and I'll get those out to you. I do owe some people some merch, so if you're watching this, you've been promised merch. I am just kind of overwhelmed at the moment with work. Hopefully later in October, I'll have a few minutes to breathe, and I could make up some merch and get it out to the people I promised merch. Promised it quite a bit ago. Promised it at 250 subs, and we're almost to 500. So I will do my best to get you your merch before we reach 500 subs. I don't think that'll be a problem, but, you know, Izzo is full of good intentions, and sometimes is wrong. But anyway, thank you for hanging out at Izzo's place. If you're working, work safely. I make a joke and throw the instructions away, but I always go back and read them. If you're working, work safely. If you're drinking whiskey, drink responsibly. Do everything with a little bit of whimsy, and you're going to have a good time. All right, I'll see you next time you're hanging out at Izzo's place.